Good morning. Today we're looking at the Pitch Black Prerelease Promos. Prereleases are easily one of my favorite events in the Pokemon TCG. The format is new and refreshing every single time, and it's so fun to be able to open a new set ahead of release with my friends. Let's get into it. The promos for this pre-release are Miraidon, Slowbro, Dhelmise, and Bastiodon. The images I've used for this video are from PokemonProxies.com. I will put a link in the description below. Let's talk about them one by one. Miraidon is a basic Pokemon with 120 HP. The ability Photon Chord reads as follows. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out by damage from one of your opponent's Pokemon attacks, move 2 basic lightning energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. In order for this ability to work, your Pokemon needs to be knocked out from damage from an attack. This means that damage counters or poison stacks, for instance, don't activate this ability. It does allow you to charge up a new attacker on the bench instantly. The scariest counter to this deck would be the Rust Syndicate Grunt Supporter, which allows you to discard 1 energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. The attack Thunder only does 90 damage, which isn't enough to knock out any of the other promo cards, but it can be improved by adding the special Voltaic Lightning Energy. This special energy does 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon as long as it is attached to a lightning Pokemon. You can combine this Pokemon with other strong attackers, like Vikavolt. Vikavolt has the attack Giga Railgun for 2 electric energy. It does 260 damage, but only works if it has at least 1 Voltaic Lightning Energy attached. Another way to boost your Pokemon's attack is by playing the Gladian Decisive Battle Supporter. You can only play the supporter if it's the only card in your hand. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon that do not have a rule box deal 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. But this supporter seems to be more specifically made to work well with Slowbro. Slowbro is a stage 1 Pokemon with 130 HP. Slowbro has the attack All Out. For 1 psychic energy, this attack does 50 base damage and 160 more damage if you have no cards in your hand. This means that Slowbro can hit for 210 damage if all conditions are met. If you just played the Gladian Decisive Battle Supporter, you're doing even more damage for a total of 290. This is enough to knock out the Mega Darkrai EX, Morpeko EX, the Mega Zeraora EX, and the Lurantis EX. To get rid of the cards in your hand, you can use the Slowpoke's attack Unlimited Disposal. This attack does no damage, but allows you to discard as many cards from your hand as you like. A great partner for this would be Silvally. Silvally has the ability Call a Buddy. Once during your turn you may use this ability. If you have no cards in your hand, search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. The next promo we'll talk about is Dhelmise. Dhelmise is a basic Pokemon with 140 HP. The Vengeful Anchor attack for just 1 psychic energy does 30 base damage, plus 140 more damage if you have 4 or more Pokemon in your discard pile with the Hide and Sneak ability, for a total of 170 damage, which is enough to knock out all the other promo cards. The Pokemon in this set with this ability are Shuppet, Banette, Poltergeist, and Sinistcha. The Hide and Sneak ability prevents effects of attacks or abilities from your opponent's Pokemon. This means that your Pokemon can't be slapped, poisoned, or confused, and they don't get damaged by damage counters. This promo also has a great partner in the new Spiritomb. Spiritomb has the Soul End attack for 1 psychic energy. If you have 13 or more Pokemon in your discard pile with the Hide and Sneak ability, choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon and quadruple the number of damage counters on each of them. So keep in mind to always put at least some damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, even if it means you won't knock them out yet. The supporter you want to play in this deck is Gwyn. Gwyn allows you to discard up to 2 Pokemon from your hand, excluding Rulebox Pokemon, then draw 3 cards for each Pokemon you discarded this way. A fun inclusion in this deck is Tropius. Tropius has the Fruit Scent attack for 1 colorless energy. It allows you to look at the top 6 cards of your deck and reveal any number of Pokemon you find there and put them in your hand. This allows you to find the Pokemon with the Hide and Sneak ability fast. The last Pokemon on the promo cards is the Bastiodon. Bastiodon is a stage 2 Pokemon with 160 HP. Bastiodon has the ability Ancient Bulwark. While this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to your Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 2 or fewer energy attached. This will stop almost all promo cards right in their tracks, as all of them can attack for 2 energy or less. Bastiodon has the attack Hammer in for 2 metal energy and 1 colorless. It does 160 damage, that's enough to knock out all the other promo cards. The downside to this card is that Bastiodon has to be evolved from a fossil. You can't search the fossil with a Buddy Buddy Puffin or another Pokemon ball. Instead, you find this Pokemon using the new stadium fossil excavation site. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for up to 2 trainer cards with Antique in their name and put them on their bench, then shuffle their deck. It might be kind of slow to set up this attacker as it needs 3 energy to attack and also needs to evolve 2 times. But once you have 1 Bastiodon on the bench, that ability should buy you some time to get set up and start attacking. To make it even more difficult for your opponent to attack, you can use the supporter Rust Syndicate Grunt. You may only play this card if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Discard 1 energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Some fun inclusions in this set, for if you want to be creative with deck building, are the Mega Chandelure EX. This Pokemon evolves from Lampent and has the ability Cursed Flame. Your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost is 1 energy more. The attack Phantom Mace for 2 psychic energies does 130 base damage, with 50 more for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Combine this with Marshadow, for instance, for a fun 1-price attacker. Marshadow has the same attack as Mega Chandelure EX, but costs only 1 psychic energy and does 30 base damage plus 30 damage times the number of energies in your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost. Another fun inclusion is Jinx. Jinx is a 100 HP basic Pokemon that has the Wicked Kiss attack for just 1 psychic energy. At the end of your opponent's next turn, discard the defending Pokemon and all cards attached to it. If your opponent is setting up a Pokemon that is too strong for you to knock out, this attack is a great way to get rid of it. Alternatively, if your opponent has trouble finding their backup attackers, or they already ran out of Pokemon in their deck, this card could win you the game if their active Pokemon is their only Pokemon in play. That's all for today. I'm really curious if you've seen any other fun combination of cards in the new Pitch Black set. Let me know in the comments if you did. Thank you very much for watching and see you on the next one. Bye bye!